Mirage gasped again, a short grunt escaping as he inevitably lost the battle. Motormaster growled low in victory. The Autobot continued to fight, his return pulses intentionally weak. Motormaster snarled and tightened his hold until Mirage's armor began to dent under the sheer strength of the other's grip. You know, I just remembered that there aren't a whole lot of women left on Cybertron. Depending on the period where this fit takes place, they might think that there aren't any women left. So I guess I wouldn't understand the prison mentality here. It doesn't make it any less disturbing. Mirage's armor continued to dent under the sheer strength of his grip. You will scream before the night ends, Motormaster promised, then throbbed hard into the spy. Oh God, please don't use that phrase ever again. Before overloading, his friend tensed and he watched as Mirage clenched his jaw shut and shook. Rape overload was nothing like a voluntary exchange. It was agony. Agony. Blazing, horrific, burning agony. Motormaster stepped back and shut his armor. Smirking down at Mirage's spy's vents cycled fast and he sagged in the chains holding him up. Next, Motormaster said, and moved to sit against the wall to watch. An extra ration to the one that gets that scream I want. Wild Rider was already moving towards Mirage, but stopped at Motormaster's glare. You rape last. Sorry, I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable right now. And went back to pacing and muttering too low to be heard clearly. Breakdown got to the Autobot first and punched him in the face. No, I said raped, not punch. Can't get good rapists anymore. The blow rocked Mirage back, optics flickering. He was pulled back instantly, Breakdown spark beating against his. Even the Stunticon dug his fingers in and gave Mirage's wires vicious sharp twists. He snarled and struck Mirage again. Offline them before I offline you. What? The wires? What? I don't get what's going on. Okay. Optics resetting again. Mirage returned his gaze to Breakdown's face. Your tyrannical warlord would be rather miffed should you kill me. His vents heaved, and Mirage gasped as he lost the battle, throw off the other spark a second time. Pain pinched the fine features of his face, but his gaze held steady in Breakdown. Breakdown shouted in wordless rage. He struck repeatedly, but each time Mirage's optics would turn back to stare at him. Behind him, the others were laughing. With one final powerful blow, Mirage's head snapped back and stayed back. The spy's body hung from the strengths, limp and unconscious. Dead sighed and moved forward after Breakdown reached his overload. I suppose unconscious is better than deactivated. And better you than me, Dragstrip said. I want to feel him fight. Dead shrugged and pressed his spark in close to the Autobots. There were a few pulses of resistance, but none of the glaring and fighting the other two had dealt with, and that was fine. Dead would just enjoy the momentary pleasure from one that could deny him or mar his finish. Unlike Chromio, why won't you call me back? Mirage's body tensed and his head snapped forward, slamming the helm into the bridge of Dead's nose. Oops, sorry. The Stunticon fell back with a cry. Fury shot through him, and ignoring the raucous laughter from his Gestalt mates, he was back up and throbbing hard, violent bursts of energy into Mirage. The spy grunted as one of Dead's hands wound under his abdominal planing and began scratching and pulling far too hard on the tender cables and lines. This is getting someone really, really hard right now, just know it, and that makes me even more uncomfortable. I wasn't planning on hurting you, Dead hissed into Mirage's audio. I'm a good, kind rapist. Now you'll suffer. This is rape. By definition, it hurts and is suffering. Mirage hissed back. And are you going to suffer you are going to suffer far more than this when I get loose. He's been raped 3 times and he's still trash-talking them. I have a new respect for Mirage now. I do. Dead's fist clenched hard around Mirage's internals. He pulsed fast and sharp and howled as his release claimed him. Little blue bolts of lightning dancing between their frames. The overload left Mirage reeling, gyros spinning, and he again hung from the restraints. But once again, the spy only sucked air harshly in his overworking vents, the slightest groan of pain escaping from behind gritted teeth. A cable snagged as Dead pulled his hand free from Mirage's abdomen, eliciting another sharp breath. Dragstrip smiled as he wrapped one arm behind the spy's back and used the other to tip Mirage's face off. I'm going to make you scream, he said, still grinning and utterly confident that he could. I have better control than the others. No problem drawing this out. It ends when you beg me to end it and scream. How cute, Mirage said, voice rough and low, but still condescending. You actually believe that? Dragstrip's face dropped into an angry scowl, and he forced his spark against Mirage's. The spy grunted, unable to fight beyond the Stunticon's first 2 pulses. I'll show you! He did draw it out. Slow, rhythmic bursts of energy pushed into Mirage, and the spy was becoming far too exhausted to restrain his own spark. He gave up on that and panted fast and shallow, Vance blasting too hot air out. Dragstrip dug his hands in everywhere, tweaking and twisting, petting even, keeping his touches varied and random, trying to break the spy's concentration. But his own systems were running hot now, pleasure rushing across the circuits, his body beginning to tremble with the effort of holding off his overload. Mirage looked Dragstrip straight in the optics, a small grin beginning to curve the edges of his mouth, and throbbed back with one hard, glorious roll of his energies. Dragstrip arched against the Autobot and shouted as release crashed through him. He shook and clutched at Mirage, respiration fast and erratic. Laughter cut through the post-overload haze, and as he straightened, slamming his fist hard into the smirking spy's face. Smiling despite the pain and energon now leaking from the gash in his cheek, Mirage asked, "Which of us was supposed to scream?" Cackling hysterically, Wild Rider caught his teammate's arm before the next punch could land and pushed Dragstrip away. "My turn! You had your chance!" Wild Rider reached out and gently stroked Mirage's spark crystal. "Pretty, pretty, so pretty." Someone get Wild Rider a cookie. I don't think he even realizes what they're supposed to be doing. He giggled as the Autobot flinched and tried to twist away. "Don't care about the energon or the overload. Just want to hear you scream." What is it with the screaming fetish everyone has? Wild Rider spent a few more moments just petting Mirage's core. "So pretty," he snarled and punched the crystal. "My precious." Mirage's optics went wide as excruciating waves of pit fire consumed him. He couldn't have screamed then had he wanted to. The world inverted, and Wild Rider snickered and danced out his way as Mirage's tanks purged. "I knew that hurt," the Decepticon crowed. Wild Rider returned, chest plate sliding black, respiration fast, and chest was already hot as he pressed against Mirage. He moaned and nibbled his way up the Autobot's lateral cranial chest. "That was awesome!" Wild Rider moaned again and slammed his energies into Mirage. The spy shuddered, twisting and trying to break the concentration. Hands gripped the chains that connected to the Maclock cuts around his wrist. Wild Rider giggled between panting moans and grunts of pleasure. "Can't run, can't escape, gonna frag you, every night till you're dead." "Oh, that's tremendous. Why don't you go on ahead, yeah? I'll catch up." Mirage's entire body spasmed and Stunticon overloaded. Wild Rider was comically loud, laughing even as he sobbed in ecstasy. Wild Rider's a screamer. Should have known. He draped his arms around the spy's shoulders, hanging and stressing Mirage's jumps until he caught his breath. Wild Rider pulled the Autobot's face and pressed his lips to Mirage's mouth in a sloppy kiss. This is getting weird. Actually, no, it crossed the line into weird, like 10 paragraphs ago. Mirage whipped his head to the side, but the Stunticon let him go, giggling as he sauntered away, and shrugged at Motormaster for his failure to gain the coveted scream. "That was fun, idiot!" Dragstrip snapped. Motormaster remained seated for a moment, fingers lightly brushing over the center seam of his chest plates. Mirage watched, vents hitching and body shaking as he fought to control the pain winding through every circuit in his body. "A rousing show," Motormaster said as he rose. Mirage's head tipped back and large Stunticon approached. Motormaster's hands grasped the chains above Spy's wrists, and he simply stood, staring at Mirage for a few minutes. "And you're still standing. I'm actually impressed. Not bad for a soft-sparked Autobot. But then I guess... Oh, it's not soft anymore. But then I guess all that fancy tower's ritzy slag must have something to do with it." He grinned. "We've heard others talking, so there must be something they have a reason to be jealous of. Guess you are well-built." Mirage's brow ridge arched up. Is it a Decepticon trait to enjoy listening to the sound of one's own voice?" Motormaster's hand moved lightning fast and squeezed Mirage's throat. "Is it an Autobot trait to never know when to shut up?" Actually, it is. The spy snickered. Actually snickered. And Motormaster had to admit to the irony of his words. I get it, because they're trying to get him to talk, but they're complaining that he won't. Okay, I'll just move on. Chest plate slid back, and Motormaster lifted Mirage by the neck instead of leaning down to align their sparks again. The spy dangled helplessly. Hip, knee, and ankle joints strained as the cuffs binding him to the floor pulled taut. Spark energy crashed unrelenting waves from Motormaster. Mirage tightened his grip on the chains and pulled to take some of the stress off his neck, but the servos in his shoulders were already stressed, and the blaze of pain, HTML on the italics there, from his spark caused him to shake and slip after only a couple clicks. Motormaster growled, still holding the spy up with one hand. He was revved up from watching Mirage twist and writhe at the hands of his team and would not last long, but he was determined to make the Autobot hurt. Mirage whimpered and Motormaster lost control. It wasn't a scream, but it was something. His hand squeezed. One hand slipped and grasped the cuff at the spy's wrist. The other choked Mirage and caused him to thrash even as the agony of rape overload tore through him yet again. When Motormaster let go, Mirage hung unconscious and looking ruined with the spark exposed. Stunticon grinned and reached out to close the core armor, then the Autobot's chest plate. "Aw, why'd you do that?" Wild Rider whined. "Because we're all spent, and we know it. Because if we leave it open, we'll have to listen to Starscream bitch about us messing with the prisoner." There's no way no one knows about this. There's security cameras, aren't there? Motormaster pinned each in turn with a glare. "Do any of you want to have to listen to that irritating fragger whine cycle after cycle?"